Good morning. We're out in the garden today and I'm going to be doing some harvesting. We're going to harvest the potatoes and then we're going to also harvest half a bed of onions. So I'm going to show you what we got here and what I'm going to do, and we'll see how our harvest turns out. So here's what we're looking at. So we've got this bed here of potatoes, and I kind of came in here yesterday and fiddled around and just to kind of see what we were looking at. They don't look too big, but I'm wanting to empty out this bed and make my tomatoes accessible. So we're going to cut all the foliage off the top, and then we got this bed right here too, full of potatoes. So kind of the way I can tell that the potatoes are ready is that they're starting to turn yellow, and their foliage is starting to fall over. So we're going to go ahead and harvest these. They look like, I thought I had planted Yukon Golds, but I guess they're baby reds. So we're going to harvest those, and then we're also going to harvest these onions here, and so we can clean up this bed and get it ready to replant. So that's a pretty good size onion. I'm pretty happy. I'm thinking maybe I needed to plant these starts a little bit deeper, and they might have balled up more. But overall, I'm pretty happy with how they're looking, and we'll eat these fast. I probably cook with 1 or 2 onions per day, so these are going to be gone in no time. We won't even have to overwinter these. Although I do have another bed on the other side of the flower bed that's a full bed of Walla Walla Sweets, or 3/4 of a bed, and so we'll have some more onions, and hopefully those we can store a few of before we eat them all. So our onions are actually Utah Yellow Sweet Spanish onions, and I did start these from seed. Early spring, late winter. And then the potatoes were seed potatoes that I got at the feed store. So these are our seed potatoes. So we're going to get cutting off the foliage and make some access to this bed in hopes that we can get to these tomato plants over here. So I don't know if you guys remember from my original garden tours, so there's about 3 feet in between these beds, and basically everything, and I didn't do a very good job of pruning my tomatoes, but everything has fallen together, and these 2 beds you can't even get down the path. So we're going to go ahead and get this cleaned up, so hopefully we can access some of the tomatoes on this side, this right side. While I'm out here, I'm just going to turn quickly around and I'm going to show you our sweet potato bed. It is looking magnificent. So, oops, excuse me. These are our sweet potatoes, and they are just doing so good. They are so long and prolific, and I really it's my first time ever growing sweet potatoes. I did get these from Stark's Nursery online, and I believe they were called Bellegarde sweet potatoes. So, and then when they were small, I actually had planted some zinnias from Baker Creek in here. I just threw the whole pack in here, so it's quite a spectacular display. So I'm just gonna see if I can get a side look at so that's the sweet potatoes, and then the zinnias they just look so pretty in there. Definitely a repeat, maybe a different color zinnia next year, but looks so good. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get started. I quickly just wanted to go over what we did when I planted the potatoes. We filled these beds with a composted cow manure and topsoil from our farm, and that is all we did. So we're gonna check these out and see how well we did, and if it was a successful harvest. So I'm really hoping we get quite a few potatoes, but everything's looking really good. These are really, this end is really yellow and dying back. So let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to cut back all the foliage, and then I brought over a fork so that we can dig up the potatoes. The foliage here, what I'm going to do is I will just I'm going to put it on the ground, and then I will bring the wheelbarrow over and I'll load it up. This foliage will actually go into our burn pile. I do not give nightshade to any of the animals, as when it starts to get seeds on it, those are poisonous. So all the foliage from the potatoes will go into the burn pile today. Anyway, let's get going. So what I noticed first of all right here is where our potatoes were close to the onions. These onions are just super small. I think maybe they just didn't get enough sun. So, but we'll still eat these because these will be delicious. But yeah, so as you get further away from where the potatoes were, the larger the onions get. So maybe onions and potatoes in the same bed are just not a good plan. So let me get the rest of this foliage out. Start here. Get our fork in here. Be careful not to hurt our drip line, and we're gonna get in here and see what we can dig up. I did cut the water. 2 days ago to these two beds, so it's still damp, but it looks like looks really good. Let's see what we got here. Look at that. How exciting. Look at that big boy. So we've got off this first plant. So anything that we nick, look at that one. That's a big one. Anything we nick, we'll have to eat right away. They won't store. Oh my goodness gracious. Check that one out. That thing is huge. So last year I did potatoes in the ground, and I just couldn't keep up with the weeds. So this has been, I'm very happy. This is a very successful, even just the little bit that I've got out so far, I'm very happy. So let's see what else we can get here. Make sure we didn't miss any. I think we got one of those. See if we can get in here and get this other one out. Let's see what we got. There's one. Oh wait, I just almost threw that root away, but look at these cute little ones. How yummy will these be? These little tiny new potatoes. Oh wait, there's one more in the root. Alright, here's what we got out of this first bed. Here's our onions. We got 2 pretty good stacks of onions. Those will be delicious fried with these potatoes. And we kept these potatoes aside because I pierced them, so I want to cook those up right away and clean them. But we got this pile, and then I filled up the entire hod. So now we're going to do that bed. So we'll see how much we get from there. All right, we got it dug. We made a mess, but we got it dug. So let's go ahead and, that one's dug out. We took all the onions and the potatoes, and then we got that one dug. And now we have to come back and clean up our mess. Look at that amount of foliage. And it's all over here too. So we got a wheelbarrow full of potatoes, and we think it's probably about 200 to 250 pounds of potatoes. I'll take you over and show you. My father-in-law took them up by the garage so we can put them out to cure. Okay, here's our potato harvest. There is onions in there, but almost a whole wheelbarrow full. So pretty successful. So I'm going to lay these out and let them dry with the dirt on, and then and that way it'll toughen up the skins a little bit, and then we'll just store them for the next few months in the garage. So, and then there's a few here like this one that I hit with the pitchfork, and we'll take those in and I'll clean them up and cut those open ones off, and we'll cook those up in the next day or so. So pretty good. I'm gonna say that's a successful potato harvest.